say points per game for each player. All right, let's make this up a little bit. All right, and let's learn how to kind of accomplish some pretty cool and nifty things in our spreadsheet. So let's say Kyrie Irving's averaging 25.8 points per game. Let's say LeBron's averaging 30.5 points per game. Let's say J.R. Smith is averaging 12.5 points per game. Kevin Love, we'll say, is averaging 19.7 points per game. Klay Thompson's averaging 17.5 points per game. Draymond Green, 23.5 points per game. Kevin Durant, 29.7. And Steph Curry, 32.5. Okay? So I'm writing these in manually, and we're going to get into how to format numbers and cells to do all kind of cool things as the course goes on. Again, this is part one of a 10-part Excel course that I will be doing with all of you. Okay, so this information that I'm showing you here is for your first lab. So make sure you're following exactly what I'm kind of showing you here. Okay, so rebounds. For rebounds, we could do 1.8. LeBron will do 9. JR will do 2.1. Kevin Love will definitely do 8.5. Klay Thompson, 1.8. Draymond Green will do 11.5. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll copy the same one because we know they don't really get rebounds that much. Kevin Durant, 7.5. Steph Curry will do 5.15. Again, all of these numbers, I'm making them up. Okay, so average points per game, we'll keep them the same as. We'll drop the number a little bit. Points per game, average points per game. So we'll do 22.5, 28.56. 8.5, 15.75. Klay Thompson will do 15.7. Draymond will do 20.5. Again, all of these numbers are being made up. They're not real, so please don't think that these are real numbers. Again, we'll do 30.1. Okay? So now that I have this spreadsheet that I'm designing, right, it's starting to look a little bit nifty, all right? And I'll change the title of this sheet here, right, because I'm working right now in the IT sheet. So I want to make sure that I rename this to NBA. All right, so I want to make sure that I reflect exactly what that I have here. So I'll title this NBA data to kind of reflect that. So now that I have NBA data, let's do a few additional things that I want to add here. Okay, so I want to show you guys a few additional tricks so you guys can kind of be aware of exactly what's happening for the most part, right? So I'm going to add underneath here, I'm going to do a totals section. Okay, I'm going to do a sum section. I'm going to do an average section. Then I'm going to do a min section, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all the way to the bottom, and I'm going to click on the drop-down menu, and I'm going to add a cell style of total. Pretty cool, right? That I can add a cell style of total here, right? And all of your cell styles differ drastically, so if you don't have it, just pick one that closely resembles exactly what I asked you to do in the lab. It doesn't have to be pinpoint accurate. As long as you pick a cell style, I am perfectly fine with what you selected. Now that we have this, we have to obviously learn how to use and apply all of these formulas. Let me delete these extra sheets that I created so that way people are not confused. And as the course goes on, we're going to be working with a lot more sheets. So now I have my NBA championship table that I kind of created, which looks pretty cool, right? So I have the names of all the players, the team that they played for, the points per game, the rebounds per game, and the average points per game for the most part, right? So what I'm going to introduce you now, okay, is I'm going to introduce you to Excel formulas. So how do we do a formula in Excel? How does it work? And how do I know exactly what I am doing? So there are many ways to do formulas in Excel. So first, let's start by adding up the points per game for each player. Okay, I'm going to show you 3 different ways that you can add the points per game for each player. The final way is the way I would prefer that you do it. So the final way is the accurate way. Okay, but they all work the same exact way, and I'm going to show you why you want to usually use the first one. I mean the third one. So whenever I write a formula in Excel, the first thing I always want to do is I want to start with an equal sign. Okay, so the equal sign basically triggers what's known as the f of x, the function. Okay, that is why I said I'm going to introduce you to average, min, and max functions, right? Because there are functions that exist within Excel, so you want to make sure you follow that functionality. So once I write equals, I can click on and specify what I would like to do with all of them. So I can click on cell C3, I can put a plus sign in front of it. I can click on cell C4 plus, okay, C5 plus, C6 plus, C7 plus, C8 plus, C9 plus, C12, okay, I mean C10, and I will get 191 points, right? Pretty cool, works, does the job, but kind of seems like it's a lot of work, right? And that's not really the way I want to do it. So that's how you can point and do the formula. So you can point at the number or the cell that you want to add, so C3 plus C4, etc. And one thing I want you to remember, because I notice people always get this confused, is when you have C3 selected, what you're actually selecting is the number inside of it, but the number is represented by a cell, right? So C3, the information that's being added is the 25. In C4, what you're adding is 30.5, right? So now that I have that, I have 191, and I can, go ahead and write the same number down for the rest, but that is the way that I don't want you to do it. Here's another way you could do it. Again, I'm summing up for all of these sections. I can put the equal sign again, and I can write sum, okay? And I can press tab. You always want to make sure you press tab after you write a formula. So sum stands for summing up. So I'm going to sum up the numbers that I'm looking for. So I can click on cell D3, put a comma, cell D4, comma, D5, comma, D6, 7, 8, comma, D9, comma, D10. And when I press enter, I will also get the results that I'm looking for, right? So it's an equal sum, right? But what happens if something happened to change, or I added more cells and it's not selected, right? There's not much I can do to really get the answer here. So it's really not an ideal solution that I would use to solve that problem. Okay, so it doesn't really, it works, but it's not really the way I want you doing it, right? I don't want you writing C3 plus C4 plus C5 plus C5, excuse me, plus C7 plus C8. It takes way too long. This, it works, but it seems like if my numbers were to grow, I would have some issues here, okay? So let's see the accurate way that I actually want you summing things up. So we're going to write equal sum, tab. We're going to highlight cells E3 all the way to E10, okay? Now that is the accurate way that you need to do it, okay? So when I write it like this, whenever a change occurs, it will automatically keep up and pull it for me, okay? However, the way I have it here, with each cell, it takes way too long, and if a change happens to one of the cells, yes, it will reflect. So let's say I was to actually come in here and change 30.5 to 33. It would show that, but if I was to add a new cell, I actually would not be able to figure out what's going on. Or let's say I moved and remove that particular cell, it would be very difficult for it to figure that out, right? So when I remove it, it can tell, but it's not really the ideal way. So you always want to do equal sum, and you want to highlight the first cell all the way down to the last cell. So E3 colon, which means through E10. So this is the accurate way that you want to sum up all of your numbers. So whenever you're summing information up, that is how you want to do it. And funny enough, I wrote sum, which means the same as total, right? Because when I'm summing things up, it's the same as getting the total. Okay, I'm going to put this in just so you guys can kind of see and not cause confusion, right? So now that we know how to do this accurately, let's actually apply it to the rest of them, okay? So again, we're going to do equal sum. Tab, we're going to highlight the cells that we would like to sum up, and then we're going to press enter. And that is how you can sum up cells accurately in Excel. Now, if you wanted to sum up points per game, rebounds per game, and average points per game, right, you can actually use the skill that I just showed you before, the fill handle. You can hover to the bottom right, go all the way through, and fill handle all of that information through, right? Pretty cool way to getting things done, right? This is like a commercial today. However, there's more. You actually don't even have to go through and write all of this information in. There's actually a shortcut. Dun, dun, dun. Shortcut. Okay, and that shortcut can be used to sum things up. It is Alt plus equal. Okay, so Alt plus equal is a cool shortcut that you can use to sum information up in Excel without having to write the formula. So if I write Alt equals, it automatically sums up information for me, and I can fill handle all of it, right? Shortcut Alt equals, okay? Alt shortcut, I'm going to write for summing, for adding cells, okay? So Alt equals is a shortcut that you definitely want to remember, right? Because it can solve a lot of pretty nifty and cool things for you, right? So you definitely want to remember exactly how to use that, right? Adding so it's a shortcut for sum. All right, so please remember that. I'm going to show you guys a lot of shortcuts throughout the duration of this course. So try to remember some of them, because they definitely will be very helpful as we kind of go through majority of the things that I will be doing in this course. Okay, so shortcut for sum is Alt equal, right?